This is a turbo grocery list, damn it.
Get down!
Alright guys, so this video is just going to be dedicated to how to turbocharge your car. We're going to try to keep it short. What is this guy doing? So yeah, we're just going to go over real quick what you need to turbocharge your car and recommended upgrades. Alright, so first thing is going to be the turbo, obviously. And
it's recommended.
Yeah, it's definitely recommended. There's a lot of different things about turbochargers that make them different from each other.
Trim.
Talk about turbochargers.
So basically what a turbo is like, it's forced induction and it works off exhaust gases.
It's called recycling your exhaust gases.
To make fast.
To make boost, yeah.
So if your parents are against turbochargers, say it'll make better gas mileage and make your car more efficient.
They can.
Because it actually does.
It can if you don't drive like a dick ass.
But if you have a turbo.
Alright, so the most common question is it okay to use a eBay turbocharger, aka China chargers? Well, we're about to test that question. I know I'm getting a China charger.
Alright, so here's the difference between a Garrett and a China one. Basically is the different kinds of bearings. A Garrett has a ball bearing turbo, which is more efficient, it'll spin more freely and stuff. The eBay turbo has a sleeve bearing turbo, which is not as efficient, it won't spin as fast or whatever. And it takes, after the exhaust gases go through, it'll stop spinning like as much. Like the Garrett turbo will spin longer. Well, and it's more durable and
lasts a lot longer.
Yeah, it lasts a lot longer.
Yeah. So, alright, next one. Let's talk about exhaust manifolds.
Yeah.
Same kind of thing with turbochargers. You can either get a good one or you can get like a China manifold. So there's a lot of companies on eBay like CX Racing. I'm sure if you've looked up any kind of turbo kit, you've heard of CX Racing. And from what I've read, don't get a CX Racing manifold because
no crack.
Yeah, it spaces the turbocharger farther away from the engine, which puts more stress on the manifold, and pretty quickly it'll just break. So if you're gonna get an eBay manifold, which is probably what I'm gonna do, get a cast iron manifold. And they're about this long.
100,000 pounds.
What? Alright.
Alright, next thing is the downpipe. eBay downpipes is basically no cat liter converter, and it's just like a straight pipe right off your turbo.
Yeah, so like you got the downpipe and then it connects to where the factory exhaust is, and then catalytic converter.
Yeah, but there's on the downpipe that you're gonna there's no.
Yeah, there's a $40 eBay downpipe that connects to nothing.
Yeah,
and it's loud as fuck. But I don't know if I'm gonna do that yet because it's my daily. So, yeah, same thing with exhaust manifolds, downpipes. You know, they can crack easily because there's so much heat going through them. And yeah, so there's a lot of different options for downpipes. If you want to like not cheap out completely, I would recommend getting a good exhaust manifold and a good downpipe and cheap out on the rest of it.
Yeah,
because that way it's less prone to breaking. And honestly, at that point, the only thing that's going to crap out on you is your turbo.
Intercooler and piping. If you get that from eBay, you're pretty much going to be good. Any kind of intercooler, radiator, something like that from eBay isn't going to be too bad. I mean,
people love them.
We got the eBay radiator, aluminum radiator
on the Miata.
And it works good. So
it's really hard to mess up something that doesn't move. So that's what a lot of people swear by. If it doesn't move, then get it off eBay. So that goes against all the China chargers and everything. Alright, so next is probably the most important to a turbo build: fuel and ignition management. So you need this if you're turbocharging your car. There's so many people, like I'm sure if you're probably watching this video, you've also seen the Haggard Garage twin turbo build. They just said fuck it and put two turbos on it. And it held up, but it'll probably blow up pretty quick because if you're just running the stock ECU and you're boosted, it's gonna start, showing signs of detonation and pinging, and it's not good.
Throw a lot of codes.
Yep. Basically what will happen is the fuel and air mixture will blow up before the piston even reaches the top
pre-detonate.
Yeah, and that just will start throwing rods. So the cheapest way to do it is to get a piggyback for because you need ignition adjustment and you need fuel pressure adjustment.
Yep.
So you can get a piggyback thing that plugs in either to your ECU or you have to like wire it into your harness. And what that does is as the boost rises, it retards your timing, which prevents detonation. Another thing you need is a something to control the fuel pressure. So the cheapest way to do that is what was it called? Rising rate fuel pressure something. What was it? You know what I'm talking about?
No.
It's like a fuel pressure regulator. So
The thing that I'm getting is a AEM FIC, which controls fuel and ignition. It's by AEM, and basically it just plugs right into your ECU. There's a map on it, but not for a turbo, so you kind of have to mess with it a little bit. Which is the hard part of turboing is tuning.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
if you want to take your time with it and don't make major adjustments, if you're going to be changing anything, do small changes.
Nope.
Or just honestly take it to a professional. But if you're trying to do it all yourself,
Good luck.
Very minor changes.
But you know what? That's what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
So.
The AEM one kit that I'm getting, it comes with like a CD or like a DVD like kit that kind of shows you what you're doing, and it like comes with this long ass packet. So hopefully like I'll learn something from it. Also on YouTube, there's this guy, I forget his name, but he has a 14-part video series on the AEM FIC piggyback, and it shows you everything on it.
Yeah, we'll try to find that and put the link in the description. Alright, what else is there? Okay, oil lines. You need oil lines. For a turbocharger, you need 2 oil lines. You need the oil feed line and the oil drain line. And on almost every car, you're gonna have to drill and tap your oil pan, so the oil that's coming out of the turbo has somewhere to go. It's just not draining out of your turbo and blowing up your engine. I also need an oil restrictor, which basically restricts the oil pressure going into the turbo. Because if the turbo doesn't have one built in, then you can blow out your oil seals in it, and the turbo will just start smoking and burning oil like crazy. Something that's optional, and this really depends on if your turbocharger works with it, is coolant lines. So a lot of turbochargers, like the cheap ones, they're just oil cooled, that's it. Well, you also have the turbochargers which are cooled off your water, and that hooks up to your stock coolant system, just like an oil feed line.
So, an optional thing you can do is get like a stage 1 or stage 2 clutch. Those help with your shifting so your clutch doesn't slip at high RPMs.
The stock clutch on most cars is going to start slipping past 7 PSI. You guys agree with that?
Yeah, 7 or 6. Mine probably like 1.
It doesn't take much.
Yeah, it does.
I'm just gonna keep the stock clutch and run low boost for a little bit. See how long it takes.
Just to hear the mad turbo blow-off valve sounds every time you let off the gas.
Right. Blow-off valves. Let's talk about blow-off valves.
Alright, so blow-off valves are definitely optional. So, blow-off valve works the same way as a wastegate does, except it vents the intake pressure. So basically, your turbo is hooked up, if you have an intercooler, to the intercooler, then the intercooler runs to your intake. So whenever you let off the gas at full boost, the throttle plate closes, and all that boost in that intake piping builds up, and it wants to push back through the turbocharger compressor wheel. So what a blow-off valve does is it releases that excess pressure and it prevents all that boost from going back to the turbocharger. So in addition to making cool sounds, that's totally JDM, yo, it also prolongs the life of your turbo in the same way a wastegate does, but wastegate's different. To lightly touch on the wastegate subject, a wastegate basically does the same thing as the blow-off valve, except it's on the exhaust. So the wastegate opens up when there's so much boost and it slows down the turbo if it's spinning too fast.
eBay versus name brand blow-off valves. The eBay ones, like the spring rates are either too hard or too soft. I know the eBay one that I'm getting has like changeable springs on it, where you can set it to which PSI you want.
Yeah.
But some eBay turbos come with like really shitty springs, and it'll like blow off at like 1 PSI, like it won't even do anything. And there's either ones that don't do it at all, which have like 4 or 5 springs in them.
Might cause boost leaks.
Yeah, and it won't even do anything. So you just got to be careful with that. And if you don't have a blow-off valve, you could damage your engine. Have too much pressure.
Damage your turbo, for sure.
Damage your turbo, for
yep.
sure.
Alright, next thing that I hate to say it's optional because you really need it, but you don't have to have it to be boosted, and it's a wideband O2 sensor. And what that does is basically it tells you if your engine's running too rich or too lean. And if you're running too lean, you can blow your engine up. And if you're running too rich, you're not gonna blow your engine up, but you're gonna waste gas and it's gonna run like shit.
All right, so, rich is when you have too much fuel, not enough air. Lean, too much air, not enough fuel.
Yep.
Just clear that up.
And the reason why people always aim for a rich air-fuel ratio is because whenever you're running rich, not all the fuel is being like combusted. So what that does is it cools down your like your cylinders basically. So it has a cooling effect to it. Other optional stuff, boost gauge obviously tells you how much boost you're running. Another optional choice is a completely standalone aftermarket ECU. Like Ian, what are you running?
Honda K-Pro.
Great ECU, can change anything you want.
It has Bluetooth, so that's pretty cool.
It's crazy tunable. You can control everything.
Miata, I'm running Mega Squirt, which is really big with the Miata people. And there's two options, which I went over in the previous video. You can either get the plug-and-play version, oh god, the plug-and-play version or the do-it-yourself version. And basically the do-it-yourself version, you have to assemble everything. And I'm still troubleshooting it, so it still doesn't work, but it will work. I also saved about $400 doing it like that. But that's how you turbocharge your car. Hopefully you learned something from it. We've spent a lot of time researching all this stuff, and we're finally gonna turbocharge all 3 of our cars.
Yep.
So that's gonna be pretty cool. If you like to see that, go ahead and subscribe.